Hello and welcome to Big Scott 35 Cards. Let's talk. I'm off this weekend, so usually this would be a weekend I would have somebody on. Being a holiday, which I hope everybody enjoyed their Thanksgiving. I just didn't want to bother anybody or put anybody on the spot. Let everybody enjoy their family time, and we'll get back into it. I don't even know if I'll ask anybody from the rest of the year. We'll see how it works out. But I want to start off by saying thanks for all the feedback from the last one. The Noah Syndergaard signing with the Angels kind of, it happens. It's part of baseball. I knew this one was going to. Well, I didn't think nobody was going to offer him anything higher. I thought for sure he was going to take the qualifying offer to prove himself for 1 year. But, it is what it is, and now he's an Angel. And hopefully he can better the Angels, and that's the piece they're missing. And I'll get more into that a little later because it might be a little rant before the end of this one. A lot of people saying, when they move on from their team and their team collector, if it's not a specific player that they collect, they're going to move away. And if it is a player and they let the sting go away, I think that's what Mike O said, pick it up. And, I feel that one too. I was sitting there, while reading those, trying to think of a player that did leave the Mets that I continued to pick up. Kind of vice versa was with me was Mike Piazza when he came to the Mets. I became a big Piazza fan. Still am. I like Mike Piazza. I think he's one of those guys that's good for the sport off the field as well as on the field, a good ambassador. I pick up his Mets stuff as much as I can. Picked up an awesome Transcendent autograph from the Transcendent Party from the National. Beautiful card. Only 9, I think, Mets card that I pick up of him is his rookie card, which I have. I'm always kind of looking out for a nice, mid to upper range graded one copy of it. I never really think about sitting in mine to get graded. I always got other priorities because he's not high up on my list, and I'm kind of babbling on and on about him. But I was just throwing that out there because when people were telling me about it, that was probably the closest I have. David Wright always stayed with them. Howard Johnson. I'm trying to think of some of the Mets that I really, Gary Carter when he left. I wasn't really collecting hard then anyway. And at that point in my life, I collected everything. I just bought packs of cards and kept them. I'm way different now. So I guess that's why it kind of hit me off a little bit. But, that was some great feedback on the most of y'all collectors and baseball fans. If they do have a stoppage, it's not going to stop you from collecting. It's going to leave a bad taste in all of our mouths. We're going to be pissed off. We want to watch baseball. We can care less about the business side of it because that's what happened in the COVID season. Everybody just wanted to watch baseball. They ruined a great chance of being the first to play, and I just hope they get to playing. But enough of that, and on to this week. With it being Thanksgiving, I also want to talk about something that I'm very thankful for in a hobby, and that's being a baseball collector, looking on Black Friday at all the baseball boxes, almost normal prices, not far off. I was excited, and I was texting friends, did you check this out? Poor football and basketball, I don't know what, I just glad as a baseball collecting community, we held our ground for the most part, I think we just have a good understanding of, you know, today's star rookie is tomorrow's retired third year player coaching as local high school. You know, that's just the way it is. And, you know, I think more and more people figured it out, especially in baseball. You know, and I don't know how football sticks it out where the biggest card is the quarterbacks, and they either, you know, excel or die in a plane fiery crash. I mean, it's just, I don't get it, but the prices for them were just skyrocketed, even at sale prices. You know, I picked up a couple of boxes. I haven't really, I bought my second single yesterday. I'm recording this Saturday night. I'm wearing my Virginia hat. They lost to Tech by 5. If we can't do it this year, we never will. But anyway, you know, it was great to see, you know, and I can't wait to get some of that stuff in. Is getting more and more on Target.com. Stuff is lasting. I know it, you know, people don't. This year's update is not exciting. It still has some key players in it. You know, it still has all your teams in it for a collector side of things, and a lot of rookies. So, you know, I found some of that at Walmart on Black Friday. I went out in the afternoon just to see what was left out there. I picked up some stuff which I was showing, not for sports, but I did pick up some retail stuff that I already opened. But I'll do my other hobby openings, or, you know, showing that in the near future. But, you know, I was happy. I could not. It was the first time I found something at Walmart in I don't know how long. Nothing at Target. I've been finding stuff at Target all the time, but that was the first time I found High Number Heritage, which I didn't even know was out yet. I got a couple of blasters of that, and a couple of hanger boxes of Update, and I went back over there today because I had to pick up a few things for lunches, and yeah, it was nothing there. But it was there for one day on Black Friday. I couldn't believe it. So I was so happy with that. A couple other things. Let's see. I did finally listen to the Josh Luber, I believe is his name's interview. I've been watching videos on everybody's opinion on that. I didn't quite hear some of the same stuff that other people heard, and I listened to it. I heard the part that they were talking about and went back, and I still didn't hear the same way. And that's the way things are, you know. Two people see something, you're going to get two different versions, or, you know, how many versions of how many people saw it. You know, 2 plus 2 equals 4, but, you know, it's the gold or green dress theory. Only thing that bothered me in that was he kept talking about this hobby should be making 10 times fold over what it's making now. And the two guys were agreeing. Now, they asked some good follow-up questions, but with that, I instantly said, what do you mean? How do you think that's going to happen? And he did say we could sell less product at a higher price point to make the more money. And I was like, wow, you're just excluding, to do that, you're going to exclude a lot of people in this hobby. You're going to go after one certain group, you know. And he kept talking about the breakers. And these guys, I guess, were breakers because they're really pushing it. And I don't hate breakers. I don't dislike them. They're a place in this hobby for them. But the people that sell the cards have put them in the forefront. And I believe that is the largest problem. And I've said it many times, of what we're seeing now, because that drove up the price of hobby boxes, which made the retail stuff better to go after, which in turn made the flippers go after that and resell it. It was a chain reaction, and I full heartedly, if you would have got it to the LCSs should be the top of the food chain, and then the breakers. And I'm sorry, the breakers are still going to make their money. I mean, they were saying the one guy that's a breaker said there's several people making millions of dollars a year off of breaking. I'm happy for them. I mean, I'm impressed by the hustle, but the LCSs should be taken care of. They should be making sure every LCS gets what they need to sell. And I mean, that with this Josh Luber coming from, StockX, I worked retail. I sold sport clothing and apparel, and shoes and apparel at Champ Sports for 6.5 years. I sold tennis shoes. Nike, Adidas, Reebok. I was there at the beginning of the craze of the tennis shoe. They made sure retail got them before anybody else on the secondary market, because there's people that got it for secondary. Even then, flipping was a thing. We would have guys come in and buy 3 or 4. It didn't matter what sizes. They just wanted them, and they were to resell them out on the street. I don't care. We sold what we wanted, but they went through the retail store. It's a little bit different. That to me, and he didn't say anything about taking away what he said was the higher end stuff they want to sell on there. Look like they wanted to sell on out with the reverse flip, upside down Dutch auction, whatever it was, and whatever, and everything else, the lower end or mid end stuff, could go out to retail, and he wanted retail everywhere. Okay, nice. You got to figure out how to get it to everywhere. Just sounds like to me like they're talking about overproducing instead of cutting back, and I don't think they really have a grasp, on the card market. Like tennis shoes. Kept talking about tennis shoes. You have to understand that tennis shoes, you wear them, you destroy them, you need another pair. That's what most people do with tennis shoes. The guys that are flipping them, somebody along the way is going to wear those. They might not. They're going to sit. I've seen some of these guys' closets. It's kind of, I don't understand. I own probably, I used to have a pretty large tennis shoe collection myself, or shoe collection. It's dwindled now to about 30 pairs. So that'll tell you what I have. But, and I only wear one pair. And once I figured that out, I was like, what do I have all these shoes for? I haven't bought a pair of tennis shoes in probably 6-7 years. But, but that's the thought of them, and they only make a certain amount, and it's not a huge amount, and each retail chain gets their own color. That's why you have different colors, and then they make special colors and for special things and online editions and all this other stuff. And then so, and now everybody has their own shoe line. The card world is kind of different when it comes to that, because cards are not going to be worn. Or, some will be destroyed. Some, will be just, lost to time. But for, now people understand a little differently. Even when I was a kid, people kind of started understanding, wow, this has some financial, something to them. Because when I was a kid, that's when the 50s and 60s cards started being kind of sought after and having a price to them. Not like today, but when you say here's a card for $50, that's wow, okay. But I think it's just a different thought process, and I still don't know if they got their head wrapped around it. Being a clothing, and then this guy coming from shoes. The sooner they get somebody over there from Tops or Panini or Upper Deck or Leaf, anybody has an understanding of cards, I will start listening a little bit more. Because right now, I don't think they have a understanding. Right now, they're thinking more logistics, and it sounds like I still think they want to capitalize on the secondary market, and that's where they think they're 10 times, because all that money's not being really accounted for when they start talking about how much money's made in the business. They're talking about what Panini, Upper Deck, Leaf, Tops makes, and they don't make all that stuff that's on the secondary market. So, I mean, he even said, I want a place where you could sell it again. I mean, we already had those places, but, you know, you can do that on ComC right now, but it sounds like they want to be the one-stop shop. I've been saying that all along. They got this guy that created StockX and made it successful for a reason. And, and he had some imaginary, I don't know, COO. I was listening and just, then I found myself just yelling at the screen because, again, it kind of felt like listening to the guy from PSA, whatever his name is, just circle talk and just not really saying words and not really saying much. And they're good at it. That's what they do. We still have 3 years, 4 years. They're talking about it. They want to make cards. That was my thing. Let's see what they do in the next couple of years. They already have, you go to their website, you can find college merchandise for just about every D1 school at any level that plays any type of sport, and even some other schools. And then when you go to a school's library website, most of the time it's Fanatics clothing there as well. So they already got a good connection with college. Now you got they can have all these things with the players. I could see them making some cards here in the next year to test the waters just to see what works and doesn't work. I would. I mean, but then again, I work in shift work in the middle of Iowa. So what do I know? The second, or I guess that was my second, third thing, whatever. My next thing I just want to talk about is, here, I said it before, somebody dogging somebody about they got their submissions back and so happy, and then people dogged them because they wasted their money on getting it with whoever they got it with. Or this time somebody got, a couple of Mike Trout's back, the rookie, update card, 2011 card, and then they got the, I forget, Bowman's Best, I think, of the same year. Didn't Bowman's Best make one of that year? I can't remember. But it was two nice Trouts, and they were 10s, and they were an off-brand on one of the new grading companies. And, everybody's like, what's that grading company? Nobody was downing it. That was the best thing. They just wanted to know who it was. It was Forensic Grading Company or something. The guy didn't care. He just wanted them protected and authenticated, and he was keeping them, which is awesome. He can do whatever he wants to do. But lo and behold, here I am. I sat there, and let me just preference what I'm going to say, because I'm going to probably get, I don't know if I'm going to get heated, but let's, Eric, the Back Page, has made a video either earlier this week or late last week on the hate for Mike Trout, and I was like, there's hate for, I thought in the hobby, but he was talking about even outside the hobby, and I was like, how can, what? Like, I couldn't register it. I'm not an Angels fan. I'm not I like Mike Trout. I collect Mike Trout because I think he's a once in a generation ball player all around. And I like him off the field just as much as on the field. He's one of these guys that you don't hear anything about. And I love that. And when you do hear things, it's quiet, things that he doesn't want to put out there in front of everybody. I've heard some stories, that he does things without recognition. And it only gets out because the people he does it for lets it out. And the person started just, well, you better hope he doesn't, get hurt again, or, if he does, he's done, and then I heard on another video, two people that I think very highly of, one of them, said, he's going to turn 30, and 30 is where they start dropping off. I know that's something that's said in some sports, but in baseball, I always thought 30 was when you start hitting your peak, when everything's, it's already probably slowed down for Mike Trout, but now it's just, really slow. He's playing slow pitch softball and everybody's playing fast pitch on 11. He might slow down a little bit, but I don't see him, unless that calf dislocated from his body, I don't see that happening. Not yet, at least. But when he starts, you always know when he start falling, if it's a fast fall. Excuse me, dry mouth a little bit. And I hope it doesn't, because I want to see him at least, 6, 7. He's in the he could play DH or whatever. So hope we got another good 7, 8 years out of him. And but I can tell you, if he tomorrow decided to retire, he'll be a Hall of Fame first ballot. So I think everybody just needs. Well, I just was like, how are people getting to this? Why are we so, as a society, when somebody gets on top, we're so ready to knock them down and want to see them fall? I had a friend said if he has another drop off or another season he gets hurt, Harper will catch him in a lot of numbers. Very true. And I think, see, this is a guy that's he'll be in his 29th year this year. And you can see at the end of this season, he slowed down. Stopped getting so aggressive. He matured as a player. I think he's matured as a person. I think he is finding that where he needs to be. He carried the Phillies in the second half of the season. And I think he's going to be up there with Trout in a lot of numbers. But what keeps Harper, and I told him this, is Harper's the same guy that called somebody a clown and that's the guy. He, slammed a pitcher. The guy needed it. And this is the same guy that the players and other teams and other announcers on other teams don't like, because he breaks all the unwritten rules. He hits a gapper and runs hard during the middle of the season when it's supposed to be an unwritten rule where you jog to second, I jog and get the ball. He runs and he's going to go to third, and if you don't go get the ball. And that irritated a lot of the older players, the guys, the established guys. The unwritten rules of baseball or of any sport, that's one of those things, So baseball's a long season, and, he kind of calmed down a little bit because, running into the wall when he was younger, that slowed him up a little bit. And, he knows now it's a long season, and his team needs him there the whole season. And if he's going to be the guy, and I think he's going to be there. But back to Trout and some of these other guys, let's just, Trout is the man. Trout is the best player out there. I think the second best might be on his team with Shohei. If Shohei does another season like what he did this year, oh my goodness. That was incredible. And you got to think a lot of years that Trout was doing, he was doing in in the Angels. Pujols was this guy protecting him, and Pujols didn't play all the time, and Pujols had one leg. His foot and everything else hurts. He couldn't run. So, let's just remember some things. The Angels are not good, and he did it on a bad team. And on that same thing, somebody said he hasn't had a playoff win. Who gives a crap? And you trying to use my words. I'm trying to be nice gentleman that I am. It's baseball. There's now 26 men on the roster. What are you talking about? One guy doesn't take you to the playoffs. Ask Acuna. They did it without him. Harper leaves the Nationals and they win a World Series. I wish I remembered his name, because I probably would have called him out, because that was I've heard a lot of dumb stuff this week, and that was one of the dumbest things that I've read or heard. And that's just somebody that doesn't understand the sport. I heard Wesker Griff talk about it just before, about Juan Soto, that talk about him. These people know the names, but do they watch the sport? Do they watch ESPN at all? Do they read it? To say that and say he's never won a playoff game, first off, he plays center field. He bats second or third. Sometimes he leads off. Sometimes he bats fourth. Good God, he doesn't play all 9 positions. For heaven's sake, he doesn't pitch. If he had pitching, they would have won a playoff game, because they stink. Now they got some pitching. Maybe to get some more this year. So I told you I might get a little heat. I try to stay calm. I just don't get it. And, just think before you write, and somebody's proud of their stuff. Let's be supportive. Support that guy. I was happy. I was so happy. Not everybody can have PSA. I'm good. While we're on PSA, I'm going along tonight. I ran it, and I'm going to talk about PSA. If they start getting a lot of stuff coming in at $100 a pop, the people in this community, in our sports world, well, not in this community, the people in whatever world we're living in have more sense, as in dollars, instead of brains. Because $100 for a regular, unless that card is way something you gotta have, or you're gonna get a nice return, because I'm going to use the investment analogy. My God, people are happy with $100, and I'm just like, are y'all kidding me? Come on. Till next time, see ya.